Right. So I would like to formally welcome you to this nice little session here on creating and distributing digital content. I am Gervail Lemo. As I said, I'm a creative entrepreneur in the entertainment industry. I direct music videos, I host things, I'm a comedian, and with me is the ever beautiful, the most successful person in my eyes, Miss Shari Petti. Shari Petti is a filmmaker. She's the director of Sorf Hair and Jump. She's currently on a Fulbright Scholarship as a director, a winner director. She got the scholarship by being an excellent director. Miss Shari Petti. We are happy to join. We are happy to join Trinidad and Tobago's Global Entrepreneurship Week and highlight the important work by entrepreneurs like us and use this platform to share knowledge, help each other grow, and develop their business path into a sustainable one. As a creative
And Gervail, I must say that we're also joined by by the grade 5 class of Trinity Junior School. I just saw that in the chat. So hi, grade 5 class of Trinity Junior School. Thanks for being here.
Nice. Uh, as a creative entrepreneur, I know firsthand how important it is to network and connect with people who may become mentors or colleagues. That connectivity opens up a pathway to earn, expand your business, and more importantly, your skill set. So we are happy to be here for the Global Entrepreneurship Week 2020. We're going to get into the session, so don't be afraid to send any questions because we want to interact and have a nice little chat with everyone. So we're gonna run into it right now. Shari, you wanna start heavy or you wanna start normal?
I want to start normal.
Sure, you don't make your hard question one time.
No, not a hard question one time.
All
It's
right, good.
still early. I'm an hour behind you, so I'm still waking up.
All right, good. So like we'll start off with how everybody starts. Shari, what inspired you to start creating film? What motivates you? What gives you a vision? Like why film?
Why film? Well, I was an actress before, and I was really frustrated that I wasn't getting any gigs. Like, I wasn't really, people weren't putting me in their films. I'm like, damn, like, am I not talented enough? But anyway, I actually was like, I probably tell this story a million times. I was an extra on a set, which Leslie actually invited me on. And while I was there, literally like the first or second day, one of the people who I was working with, Princess, who's also logged in right now, she was like, why not study film? And I never touched the camera. I never cared to like be behind a camera. I had no idea what it entailed, but I know from the day and a half or however long I was there on set, it was just so exciting. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, cool. And then I changed my major from, before it was geography, then I changed it to communications. And then when she told me that, I changed it to film. And then I've been in film ever since, really, like, working behind the scenes. And then eventually I worked my way up to making my own work. And, what really inspires my work is like my own personal stories and the people around me and Trinidad on a whole. Like I love telling stories about my people. I love investigating things that people might just pass by in the street or might not see it as too important, but then these everybody has their own story to tell. And within our society we have so many interesting things happening and we're moving so fast we don't really get to slow down and see, okay, wow, like this man here is interesting, there's a story here, there's something here to tell. So those are the main things that inspire me. I also like grew up without cable, so I've always been like tuned into local content. And I think probably when I turned like 11 or 12, that completely halted and I didn't really see much of what Trinidad was anymore on TV. So my main thing when I got into film was like, yeah, I want to be able to show people the things that I want to be able to contribute to the work that's out there about Trinidad, because we really have been lacking for a while and things are getting better now. But that was a major push for me as well.
Yeah, nice.
And
So
it's
how right, so I'm not gonna tell you how to ask me back because
yes.
so
And what inspires you? What made you get into film?
um I grew up in Maruga and I was so like film was so foreign to me. And then this one time in primary school, I think Gyal came to our primary school and I was really intrigued by it. I was like, yo, I think I want to do that one day. But growing up in Maruga, that is like, yo, Danny, better go and learn how to plant garden or something. And then I moved to Shagonas and I attended Boys College, and we entered the film festival, the secondary school film festival, and we won best environmental film. And I was like, yo, this is real vibes. We did all the workshop and everything. And I was real interested in it. And then always watching television. Like I've always been somebody like looking at TV. So that was a big inspiration for me, like being a part of the film festival. So that kind of sparked my interest and let me know that for sure, this is what I want to do. And kind of the same thing like you, like I have a lot of ideas and things. And being in film, I am able to put it on the screen, like especially as a comedian, like I could get away to a lot of things with doing like a music video or something. That's why I like music videos so much, because I could put any idea I have that is funny into it and make it into a scenario rather than just a person singing in front of the camera kind of vibe. So yeah.
I would also mention one thing, so like I said, I moved over from geography to communications to film. And, my dad was pretty supportive, and my mom was like, no, you have to figure out how to fund this. Like, so, I had to like figure out ways to pay myself through university. And, thankfully working in film, I was able to like, make money here, money there, and like, kind of save it towards being able to go to school. So it wasn't like an easy thing, but I mean, if you really want it, then you have to figure out how to get it yourself,
For sure. I am very grateful to my mom, because she has always been very supportive towards anything that I want to do once it's legal. So I still had to like I still had to raise like my own money and stuff. And I have had 2 jobs in my life. Other than that, it's just entertainment I've been doing. So I
think too. Like I worked at a bookstore, then I worked at a credit union, and then after that, and both of those instances didn't last over like more than 2 months. One of them was 3 weeks, and then after that, it's been strictly film. I worked at Gyal for like a week. I met you at Gyal too, and mainly it's been entertainment.
Yeah.
Since probably 18 or 19 years old.
Yeah, my job's a grocery. I spent 2 days. And they kind of fired me in a sense. The guy was like, hey, go home and you'll come back. But I already know what that meant. And then other than that was, I think I do market research for Burger King. And after that,
for Trinity Junior kids watching in, we must say that, that was our experience. Sometimes you might have to work a little longer, build up that capital, build up that money until you could say, okay, I could leave this job now and, get into doing what I want, and maybe spend give yourself a time period where you have all this money saved up so you could go full into what you want to do. There are different ways to do it. Some people get lucky, other people have to work a little harder. It's all about your circumstances and how you deal with them.
Because you definitely should get own equipment and stuff, so you should build a little bit before you leave your job or anything to get into film. Which leads us to the next question, which is very important. So we just mentioned, I wouldn't say we were lucky, Shari. I think we were just fortunate to meet the right people. So now I'm gonna ask you about building team and your network in the film industry. Who you work with, who's your core, how is when somebody's a leech, like if somebody just offer you like trying to ride your wave, and how you deal with those kind of situations?
Yeah, I feel like if, as you said, I was fortunate enough to just like meet the right people at the right time. Like, some of my mentors now are people that I met on my first set, and it's like, I worked as hard as I can until it's like, there's no way we can't have this girl on another set. Like, she works too hard. Like, she always has the answer. So that was my main motivating factor. It's like, if I want to do this, I want to be able to make the best impression. And, if anybody on this set working, I must be working harder than them. And well, from there, they invited me to other sets. But in terms of like building my own team for like my own other stuff, like it's people who I met along the way. I feel like if I have a good sense of, I don't know, I have a good judge of character and personality. So, for me, the people who don't try too hard and people who I just immediately connect with, those are the people who I tend to have around me for the long run. And, if somebody, it depends on how somebody approaches me. That's how I would know, maybe this person might not be for me. If my vibes just don't take them. And that it happens, it's not that this person might be a bad person. It's just maybe they aren't the person for me, or maybe they aren't the person for me right now. And, that's how I choose people. Also, like on Instagram, I tend to look out to see what other people are doing, what, maybe people younger than me are doing, people my same age. And, I might reach out to somebody who I find, oh yeah, their work is good. And even if their work is good, just the initial conversation will make me determine, okay, well, maybe we could collaborate on something, or maybe I could, I have a job coming up and I need an extra shooter. Maybe they could be that person, and I'll see how they work, and I'll see if next time I'll be able to work with them again. And some people I work with, from then I work with them over and over again. Other people might just be a one-off thing because, they maybe something I didn't like about how they worked, or maybe, maybe they just wasn't really that interested in film as I thought. But there are different ways I kind of decide who make it to my team. And once I find those core people, I tend to stick with those people. But I do try to look for new people to work with, because also not all the time that same person might be available, and you don't want to end up in a situation where it's like, oh, this person too cliquish, she only works with this set of people, and I try not to do that and try to like keep my options open.
So who are your core then? Who's your core team?
Well, I often work with you. I often work with Ronaldo, Matamoro.
I just wanted you to say it, I just wanted you to.
I have my group. I mean, some people you might know, some people you don't know. I mean, I don't think the names matter that much, but
wow.
but I have my people. I have my people. And yourself? How do you determine your crew, and who's your crew?
Well, building a team and building the industry, the film industry, kind of, Shari, both of us had almost the same start in a sunset.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, like, it was the same kind of thing, working real hard, and I happened to be kind of funny at times. So people said, at times. So I have always been able to, like, engage with people and kind of thing. And on top of it, I'm a hard worker, and like opportunities just keep coming and coming. So that is one of the key things there. If you're a hard worker, like, people will notice it and they will call you for things, especially when you're now starting. So then building my team, the people I work with, people who I kind of started with. I have, unlike you, Shari, I think I have very few new people around me for like my major jobs. But I am always willing to work with other people though. Like who I work with recently, but I wouldn't call their name. But yeah, my core people will be like you, Ronaldo, Leslie, Plex, and yeah, the list goes on. So yeah, that's that.
And I would say also, like, in terms of like working hard, one of the first things somebody told me when I was on set, they told me always have a couple of things. Like, I mean, there's certain things they must always have, so that if anybody asks for it, you have it there for them. And that kind of helps with that too. It's like, damn, this person always has the answer. This person always has, like, whatever we need whenever we need it, and they get it fast. That's something to keep in mind in terms of, like, when you're getting into any kind of job. It doesn't necessarily have to be film, but you must always try to be that person who is the most reliable, and the person
you always up for it,
and always have the answer.
Yeah, for me, with dealing with people who who not genuine, I think I just feel how people vibe just off a conversation. Like, I would know if you're really passionate or if you're really in love with something, rather than if you're just trying to catch up.
Right.
Yeah, like, it's about a lot of people who just try to catch the hype. So I just cipher them out. Moving on, this is something that I think you real knowledgeable on. It's placing value to your work. And when do you accept barter agreements? Do you create for credit?
It depends on what it is. I mean, and it did take me a long while to standardize things, and I'm still probably working things out. I feel like that's something that's kind of ongoing. But I did get a lot better in probably the last 2 years at, like, knowing my worth and realizing, okay, this job might not be the job that I want to sacrifice money on. I feel like I will lose more money working on this job than if I just didn't take it and did something else, or just did nothing. Because there are those jobs where it just exhausts you. Sometimes they get into a bad contract and it's like, wow, like, I really have to spend 3 months with this thing here that not paying me enough, and like not like worth it in the end. So I try to and I get better to now try to work out, okay, which jobs are those ones, which ones aren't. I do some bartering, but it depends. Like if it's like a close friend, or if it is not a close friend, is this opportunity worth it? Will this bring me more opportunities in the future? Do I want to work with this person in the future to begin with? If if this person seems like someone who I want to have a part of my team, I don't mind bartering services. They're talented. I have a little talent to give too, and and we work it out like that. So I really I figure it out based on the situation. I don't just a random person comes up to me like, hey, you want to collaborate on a project? I don't know what their works looks like. I don't know what I could do for them, what they could do for me. I mean, and at the end of the day, it might sound bad, but really that's just how it is. Like, what you could do for each other, unless it's like my close friend where it doesn't really matter what I could do for you. I just want to help you. Or if it's like, somebody who I see has a lot of potential and is like, you know what, this person going places, I could help this person out. Before I wasn't like that before, and this is something I think is important. I used to exhaust myself trying to help everybody. Like anybody tells me, sure, yeah, I could help, I could do this, I could, let me do this for you. I barely know you and I want to help you more than I want to help myself. But I had a really bad burnout maybe about a year or two ago, and I had to decide, okay, I can't help everybody. I can't be everybody's friend, and I need to make money too.
Yeah, big facts. For me, accepting battles. I try to help everyone that in my core team, because as you said, like we exchange services, especially on passion projects. If it have money involved, of course, I would want to get paid. But if it's a passion project and like I know it's for a good cause, I'm always up to help in any way possible now. Placing value anyway, that is something that I still trying to figure out, and I started be calling you and Leslie all the time. Like, yo, if I could charge you someone, because they can lose out, like especially charging for projects, like you can lose out a lot of money. And we can talk about money and stuff. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can lose out a lot of money based on like not valuing your work now, because you can have the best thing in the whole wide world and everybody knows it and you don't know it. Say that's placing like a lower price tag to your work, and that can mess you up in a real big way. I think we all have moments like that where we didn't value ourselves enough. But then
what I started doing is like I would ask around, like people who I trust, because some people obviously don't want to let you know how much they're charging for things, but people who I think have my back, I would ask them, how much you think this costs? Like, do you think I should charge this amount? And for me, especially being a woman, it's sometimes you really have to fight to let people know this is what I'm worth. And it still is an ongoing fight. And sometimes you have to decide, okay, these are my prices. And I use this amazing app called Wave, which sets my prices for me, so I know exactly what I'm charging is going to be consistent all the time. And if I realize, okay, I just really can't bend with this, I really can't can't sacrifice this cost right now. Sometimes it's fine to just say, okay, I mean, it's fine, times for the opportunity, but I wouldn't be able to do it at this time, or something along those lines. Just be respectful, just to be able to let people. And sometimes after saying that, people are like, okay, well, well, we could pay this amount, and then you realize, oh, you just didn't want to, you wanted me to settle, so sometimes you have to straddle that kind of area and figure out how much you get pushed to get exactly what you want.
Because I had one situation not too long ago where I kind of undercharged, but thankfully the client was a good person, and they came afterwards and was like, yo, in the future, don't ever charge this low again, and they give me a bonus. So now
the other day I charged something for
place a value on me, because I see how they value me, I know how to value myself a little bit better now. Which is also kind of scary, because you can't really wait for somebody to value, for you to place a value on yourself, because somebody could just value you real low. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also that happened to me too, where I charged for a job and the person sent an email and they were like, well, actually we prefer to pay you this amount, and it was like more than double the amount that I charged, and I was like, wow. And that person, I think, looked out for me, and I appreciated that. But not a lot of people are going to be like that. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, okay, cool, let's go with your price.
They call your price. Don't be angry. This is what you charge. Shari, someone said, can you please?
I just typed it on the chat there.
Wave. Wave. Oh, because people thought you was like wave.
Not wave as in wave in my hand, but Wave is the name of the app, guys.
So wait, what that app does do for you?
It's a financial, it's an app, it's great for people, for young entrepreneurs. Like it helps you, number one, track your finances. You get to make invoices, you get to make quotes, you get to check how much money, how much expenses you've been um generating for the month, how much revenue you've been getting. And it looks very professional. It goes straight to the email. From the app, it goes straight to the other person's email. And you could customize it, you could add your logo, you could do all these kind of things, and it's free. I don't think it should be free at all, but it's a free app,
So
which
it should
which
be
I think
free.
is absolutely amazing, and it's great for financial. Yeah, I mean, it should be free, but it shouldn't be free because it's like, wow, like this is like an accountant. But yeah, we have the name of the app. I recommend it to everyone, like anybody who's doing any kind of business on their own.
Right. Moving on. Expanding your craft and professional abilities by creating diverse content. How do you decide which project to choose? How do you stay relevant? How do you stay ahead of the curve?
Okay, so I'm like big on social media, so I post everything that I'm working. Well, until there's something that I don't post just yet, but once I have the get declare for myself to post it, I post everything that I'm working on. I try to keep people engaged. I try to drop a meme or two in there. But
Mhm.
in terms of like, sorry, what was the first part of the question?
Expanding craft and professional
On
abilities
how do I
by
choose jobs? I thankfully for the most part, a lot of people who reach out to me because of the kind of work I already do. So
Mhm.
they see, my stuff is like either culture specific, if they want a documentary, if they just want a DP to shoot something for them, mainly documentary stuff. But now obviously with school, I'm getting more into narrative filmmaking. And even right before I left, I was making a couple of narrative short films. So
Yeah.
that'll be a added thing. But people tend to reach out to me based on what they already see that I do. And if someone reaches out to me for something that doesn't really fall in line with what I like to do, it depends. Like if it's something that I think is interesting enough, then yeah, I would take it on. But if I feel like if it's out of my scope or if it's something I'm just not that interested in, I will suggest someone else, to be honest. Because I feel like a lot of times when you choose something that you like to work on, it shows. Like you can
Yeah.
tell somebody enjoyed working on this thing. But if I feel like, when you don't really care about the project, you don't really care about this person at all. It's just like you're kind of doing it for the money, which I mean is fine too, I guess. But I prefer to
Because
just
I was just about to ask now, like, all right, if it's a project, like just okay, so you like more culture type stuff, right?
yeah, more culture stuff,
All right,
documentaries,
cool. So
anything
let's just say,
interesting like that. That's why I love working with Lost Tribe. Like it's not just culture, it's just like very modern, very
but
urban
watch,
kind of vibe.
if you're in a situation where okay, this person comes with a real cool culture project, right? It's real out of this world, and this other person just come and be like, yo, I want you to shoot this building. I giving you $1 million, but here I giving you 5,000.
Yeah,
Like
I
how?
just take sometimes I just take the million if I know. I mean, because sometimes the million goes towards me making the work that I actually want to do. Like this,
Right.
I've done. Yeah, as I said, it depends on what it is. Like if it's something that I don't really like, but it pays enough, then I think about it as an investment for myself, really. Because it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, I have to fund my own work, and not all the time you're
Yeah.
gonna find work that you love. So sometimes I just do the mundane things.
For me, I do music videos, and recently I started enjoying doing ads. So I think like that both things I do to diversify myself in a sense, and then I collaborate with you a lot. So I guess I do some of the culture things too. But if I had to choose like the thing that I really enjoy doing, it would be the ads, and I think again. All right, cool. So nice. We're moving on to the next thing, Shari.
Mhm.
Again, let's see. Um, so cool. You created your content, you created Sorf Hair and everything nice and airy. How do you distribute it and what platform do you use?
Okay, so for my digital content, I love Instagram. I post on everything, but Instagram is my favorite because I feel like it's literally meant for visual stuff. Like, everybody's there to see images, either still images or moving images. So that's my go-to. Then I post on Twitter so people could go to Instagram or go to YouTube to view my stuff. And I post to Facebook also. Sometimes to let people go to YouTube. Sometimes I just post the entire thing on Facebook. But in terms of like things that are a little more heavy on the copyright, things that are a little more work, went into. And this is something I kind of learned on the go when I made my first, documentary, like major-ish documentary. When I made Sorf Hair, I had no idea about distribution. I wasn't really thinking far ahead in terms of beyond film festivals. If I'm being transparent, I made that film at like $300, and Leslie and helped fund out of those $300. And after I made that film, which had like a very low start, like initial cost or budget, I started sending it to festivals, and it started picking up a little faster than I imagined it would be. Like, it was sold out in Trinidad, and then it showed at a bunch of the festivals. It got into, the Pan-African Film Festival, which was a festival I thought I would submit to maybe like 3 or 5 years down the road, because to me, it was like, one of the bigger dream festivals, and I would expect my student film to get into there and be nominated there, because it wasn't nominated anywhere else really. And they nominated it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was. And from there, people started emailing me to distribute it. So Quelly TV, which is like this year was named in the top 20 streaming platforms. They sent me an email. It was like, hey, we saw your film advertised at the Pan African Film Festival. We were interested in distributing it. Can we see it? Sent it to them. They were like, love this. We're definitely gonna want to have this on our platform. And I distributed there, and I get money every quarter from them. Which is, way more money than I even put into making the film. I also get money from streaming, from also distributing. I also people, what's the word? People pay for the content, so they pay to screen it at,
like
whatever.
a kind of pay-per-view kind of thing.
Yeah, not like pay-per-view, but like if they want to show it to their class, if they want to show it to a university, which happens. Okay. People pay for that as well. It showed at like some smaller museums as well, and that's a screening fee.
Also, Shari, I think Sorf Hair, it's up on a streaming site, right?
Yeah, Quelly TV. That's what I was talking about before.
Right. So like how that whole streaming rights thing go?
Yeah, and it's also on Studio Nancy. They send a contract, and I get a percentage of the earnings. And then per quarter they send it out. I think I get like 60% of the revenue that it makes. So every quarter they send that money to me. And Studio Nancy, I also signed a contract with them. They have, obviously, everybody has their different percentages, but I get money from them as well. And people still reach out to me to screen the film at random places at random times. I'm still surprised, like 3 years after, people still want to see this film, and I still make money off of something that I didn't intend to make a single dime off of. I probably, if I'm being transparent, I paid $300 to make it, and I probably made back so far maybe more than between like around 30 to 40, like maybe like 30 to 35,000 from something that I didn't intend to make any money from. And that's just like accumulating over time. So, I just imagine if I actually have like a marketing plan where it's like, okay, let me make this film with the intention to make money, it will go a lot better because I was able to accidentally stumble upon an opportunity to make money from a film. And also, like, winning awards at festival, I won like People's Choice at TTFF. So that was,
So through the film, you were able to make streaming money. People like kind of showcasing it in schools and at events and stuff. Then you had your own event to screen the film, and now you think you get a lot of jobs off of the film?
I think so. I think a lot of people were able to know me through the film, and through that it gave me a lot of opportunities to travel. I was able to go to like China for a conference on youth heritage and creativity, based on the kind of work that I've been doing. And I was able to just be in a lot of different countries. People saw that I did documentaries, and it was like, yeah, we need you to make our documentaries too, whether it's in Barbados, whatever it is in I went to St. Lucia and Martinique.
Yeah.
All these different places. I went to Dubai, Sharjah with as well. So a lot of those kind of opportunities.
You're well traveled.
Yeah. Oh shucks, yeah. I mean, that's conceited, but I guess.
Yeah, well traveled. Okay, so now I go and pull 2-3 questions from the comment section, and then I'll go back into the to our schedule. Do you think the market in, this is a real good question here from Shal Thomas. Apologies if I pronounce your name wrong. Do you think that the market in Trinidad and Tobago is too small for certain types of films, or has it gotten better over the years? I think I think it's not too small, and it definitely has gotten better over the years. A lot of, I think we just real fall back on marketing us.
Mm-hmm.
We use real apps on marketing because we have real beautiful films in Trinidad that could fit every section of our society, you know.
Yeah.
But like it's not marketed at all. Like for instance, I think that's why Sorf Hair got like sell out twice in one night, because we were able to market it properly and it was well marketed. The event was well marketed. The film spoke to everyone. But like I feel as though that like when we create a lot of our content, we hold it back for whatever reason, but I don't think it's screened and marketed properly in Trinidad.
Also, Gervail, a lot of the smaller content that, like, okay, so fair the bigger film, but a lot of the smaller things that I do would lead up to people knowing what I do, like be looking forward to seeing the bigger things. So I put out a lot of content for free on the internet, smaller stuff. Sometimes people reach out to screen those even, but you know, a lot of those smaller stuff, and then boom, people see, oh, a bigger film, because, well, I like these small things, let me check out this bigger type of film. And you know, I also don't think it's too small. I think it's about your approach to it, not only marketing, your approach to your budget, and knowing, okay, you can't, if you're spending $2 million on a film, you have to figure out how they're going to make the money back. Maybe don't spend $2 million on a film. Maybe make, you know, find a way to make it smaller, make it with a smaller budget, and in the long run, make smaller budget, smaller crew, but still very experienced crew, as experienced as you can get, and make a solid product. And then eventually, you know, boom, you could get, you know, people, you could get more money back from the small investment that you make, until so, the point where you could make movies with the bigger budget, and you know, bigger people behind you, and sponsors, and people to make your money back. Then by all means, but I know a lot of people aren't at that point. We aren't even at that point yet.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of conversation with people, and they say they feel as though that they hear like about films in Trinidad, but they're not able to see it now. So that's why I have the opinion that maybe it's not marketed properly for everyone, but they're definitely a big market for film in Trinidad and the Caribbean. Like the Caribbean have several millions of people. Like it's not only about Trinidad. Like our stories would resonate with up the islands easily. That's why like music just travel up the islands. So the film could do the same thing. We just look at Jamaican film here. So like we could watch Trinidadian film, and it could go up the islands. I feel I kind of move away from thinking, like if it's nothing in Trinidad, like Trinidad too small. Like we had to think as a region.
Yeah. Okay, so a thing about balancing life right now, I have to take a break for a small moment because I have a class for about 20 minutes, but Leslie's gonna take over for me with the question, and I'll be right back. I just have to like make a quick run and attend to this class, and I'll be right back. So don't leave, guys. I'll be back. I'm enjoying this conversation, but just give me a second. Goodbye.
Right back.
Thank you, Shari. Hi, Gyal.
Hi, Leslie Ann.
So, well, okay, now it's perfect for me to tune in and ask. We're getting a question. Are there any tips for a beginner videographer? I know that's your genre, that's your world. Tell us how you became a videographer and how you are able to make money from being a videographer.
I don't know why. No, I feel real nervous for some reason. So, tips for becoming a videographer. As I said earlier on, I got into the soul film thing by entering the secondary school film festival. While I was there, I was able to do like the little courses that they have coming up to the film festival to create your film, right? After that, we talk about having a network in the film industry. I was able to have an excellent mentor. His name was Edward Salandi, and he used to shoot weddings every weekend. Every weekend, this guy would have a wedding, and I was in Form 5, and he would have carried me to the wedding. I had my nice little shirt and tie, was a pants, and I used to hold all his bags, set up for him, and then he would show me a couple of shots. He'd be like, yo, you do this, do that, do that, do this. This is how you deal with a document, and somebody asks you for an invoice or a quote. This is how you do it. This is how you market your services, and then like those kind of conversations we'd have coming back home from the weddings. while working with him, he said, I am only mentoring you until you finish school. As soon as you're over with school, you had to learn how to get your own jobs. And I was like, this man is a madman. Like, oh, you could just tell a youth man, yo, you go and get your own jobs. And then he said, the money that you're making from me with the weddings, save it and try and buy a camera. It wasn't plenty money, so I don't think I was able to save it right away. But thankfully, as I said earlier, my mom used to support me with everything I do. So I raised half the money and she gave me the next half, and I was able to buy my first camera, a Nikon D7000 with a nice little 50mm lens and an 18 to 105 kit lens. From that, I just started practicing. I met a lot of people with a similar mindset and a similar interest, such as Shari, Ronaldo, Omar, and we would just shoot random things. You just shoot anything. If you call us and talk about ants walking on the ground, we would just shoot it. So me just shooting. I got kind of cool at shooting. Leslie, I can see I get good.
Yes, you're very good. Now tell us, because I mean, you mentioned the type of camera you use and the lens.
Mm-hmm.
How do you monetize? How much do you charge for your services as a range? Give us a range. As
okay.
a startup, we're teaching our audience how they can make money by creating content online. So what is the best way to start that initiative? And of course, we'll get into dollar questions and the test podcast and how you actually get sponsors to provide you with funding in creating your content as well.
Well, again, because I started shooting all kind of thing, and it being all over the place, people saw that I was cool at shooting, and they started calling. And I would tell you how I set my price. It had this one night, Marshall was performing in a club, and he was like, I don't charge less than 15,000 to perform. And I'm not talking 15,000 TT, I'm talking 15,000 pounds. I said, from today forward, I will charge $1,500 to shoot anything. I don't care who it is. And that's how I had set my base, right? At my base price at $1,500, which I think is industry rate these days for like just a shoot. I think like $1,500 to $1,000 per shoot.
Is that like a day rate? Is that daily?
Yeah, that's a day rate.
Okay.
That's a day rate. Everyone who I've ever worked with, they are always cool with $1,500. More, of course, like once you can afford more, men will be happy. But $1,500 is like a day rate for a cameraman or a videographer, if I'm not wrong.
I have seen persons charge a separate price for renting the equipment, and then you pay a separate charge for me as the videographer. Do you do that? Do you charge for the equipment as well as your services, or the 15 is a flat?
I would charge equipment if I have to bring in extra stuff. So like if with my equipment, if it's not enough for what the client requested, I would just source it elsewhere and give a rental fee to a friend. Like for instance, if Shari has a real nice lens that I like and I know it will suit the job, I will add in equipment rentals in that case. But other than that, most of the time it will come with your own equipment. But I've also been in places where I was able to secure my rate, because it's my rate, without equipment, where people would be like, okay, this guy good, this is your rate because you're good at it, so come through and we get us use our equipment.
Okay, great. And now tell us about, because you started with dollar questions. Tell us how you created dollar questions. Of course, the copyright of using the song dollar, right? So let's talk about the copyright of that. And were you able to monetize dollar questions?
Right. So we created dollar questions around the same time we did Sorf Hair and Small Lime. So like we were working on Shari's thing and then working on me as a host and as a comedian. And then it was a situation where like Shari and I felt as though like it didn't have enough content out there, like from people our age now. So we just started creating all kind of thing. And it leads back to what I said earlier on, like if you really want to get good at something, just go out there and do it. Just go out there, practice it, get the equipment. You don't have to buy the most expensive thing you will. Just go out there and start shooting with what you have. So that's how that came about, the copyright of this song. I remember I thought I could have just used Colin Lucas Dollar Wine in the song without writing to him. And that was the biggest mistake ever. Like, he didn't take us to court or anything, but we had a conversation, and they gave me the proper advice how to go about by cut and signing up the forms. I think it was, Leslie, you can remember how much it was to get the song?
No, not off the bat, but yes, what you're saying is correct. You have to go to cut, especially if the musician is registered with cut, before you actually put content into put music into your film.
Yeah, so yeah, you have to check with the Copyright Office of Trinidad and Tobago. Otherwise you could end up having a very big lawsuit. And I would have never been able, I don't think that I ever carried to court though, but I don't think I'd have been able to pay anything to Colin Lucas. So it's better to just do the right thing one time. If you're doing a film and you want to use a song in it, check with cut. It's not that hard to go check with cut. You can walk in the office, and I think everything is online now. So you can just search or make a call. And it's a simple form. You pay, I don't think it's a lot of money. I think it's like a couple.
It depends. It depends on the length of the music you want to use, the year of it. There's a lot of different criteria. But tell me something, in terms of dollar questions. You created dollar questions on your own dime, and then it became popular, and then that's when sponsors saw you and were able to support. Yes? Tell us the process in terms of getting sponsorship.
Well, they saw us, they like the vibe, and then they'll have a meeting with you, and they'll tell you, okay, so and so is the case, I like your program. We want to do this with you. We can give you this amount of money, and you would do so and so in the video. Like if they say, hey, yo, that's all of the package juice, and smile and say, hey, this is the best juice in the whole wide world, and you will agree to a price. They will, like, you will tell them, okay, cool, my show is 5 minutes long. You can only get 15 seconds of my show with this price. And you just have a conversation, and it works like that. If I answer that properly.
Oh, no, that's fine. Because a lot of times, we have creatives waiting for the sponsors to come on board before the content has been created. But a lot of times, even myself as a creator, you realize you have to create the content first.
Yeah, I do recommend just sitting down on your content and saying, I have an idea. Like, it's really better to just go out there and do it. At least have 2 episodes out, or at least 1, so people can see the value of what you're doing now. Like, because I think that I sell the most. When people see that your product is being enjoyed, they tend to want to be a part of it and spend money on it. So
and tell us about the platform. So Dollar Questions, you did it on Facebook.
On
But
Facebook.
now you have the test podcast, but that's on YouTube. Why did you make the switch?
I feel as though when things are viewed on YouTube, it's a more genuine watch. Like on Facebook, you might just scroll through. Not saying that I wouldn't use Facebook as according to the product. The test podcast is like a half an hour to an hour long. I wouldn't post something like that on Facebook. I feel as though people who use YouTube don't mind sitting down in front of their computer and taking in content. If it's something quick, like a 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I would post it on Facebook. But it's just because of the length, and I know people like use YouTube to watch longer videos most times. So yeah, like if you use YouTube, Leslie, I'm sure when you're saying no, you can catch yourself watching like a 20-minute thing, and then you'll be like, hey, 20 minutes just passed away. I didn't even realize that. But if you're on Facebook, it has so many other things going on Facebook that you'll end up scrolling. So that's like, I just differentiated based on what I'm producing now.
No, correct. Because even when I listen to the test podcast, it's something that you can, like you said with YouTube, you can leave it, let it play. You can listen to it, you can do other things, and you realize, wow, that time flew by really quickly. So how do you plan to monetize the test podcast?
So this is a conversation I just have with the team all the time. Big up Daniel, he's watching. Shay and Johnny, Daniel and Jonathan, they show every week. So this is the conversation here. They said that Trinidad and Tobago isn't really registered with YouTube to become monetized, right? There are platforms that you could sign up on and you'll be able to monetize, but it wouldn't be the right amount of money. So what you could do is, if you have family abroad and you really trust your family, you could use their address and their credit card, and you'll be able to monetize like that. But your location wouldn't be in Trinidad. it will be abroad.
Correct. And as we know with YouTube, you have to get at least 1,000 subscribers, and they're also looking at watch hours. So the more content you put onto YouTube, the more you can build, the quicker you have a potential of returning or getting that return on investment. And I saw in one of the episodes, you actually had a sponsor. It was a product. So tell us how you were able to get that product onto the test podcast.
Hey, big up Daniel. Daniel was the linkage for that. In Trinidad, for me, because like the same issue with monetizing and all those kind of things, people tend to not really beat up on making money on YouTube because it kind of complicates it now. So what they do is they get their own sponsors, like small businesses or big businesses are calling to who is interested in you, and they have the conversation, and they they are ways to monetize it. Yeah, as Linda said, yeah, that we was just saying. But it's kind of complicated to some people. Yeah, so they would watch the show, and it's the same thing like Dollar Questions. They had interest in it, and they asked, hey, how can we be a part of the show? You want to support it? How much will it cost for this segment and those kind of things now? So yeah.
So how do you tell someone, okay, we have a lot of persons looking at it. I have an idea. I'm not sure what my first step should be. Should I try and film it on my iPhone? What should I do to get my content out there?
Film it on your iPhone, as you just said. The biggest advice I've ever gotten in my life, I didn't say this for a lot of things, but this is one of them. Don't ever wait on anyone or anything. Use what you have. If you have an iPhone and that is all you have, and it could give you at least what you like, if it's content and it could give you something to put out before you achieve getting your big DSLR or your cinema camera, use it, because it, like, these phones can create a lot of things. Use it. Like I said before, I had my new camera. I had a D7000, and that's not no best camera, but I was able to create with it. So just use what you have.
Exactly. And I mean, we look at it now and we realize even due to COVID, we have persons at home. So being a comedian, tell us how you've used your brand as a comedian to create content and to make money from creating your content. So how do you merge all of those things together?
Thankfully, this is the first time. This is the first time I'm talking about money publicly. Yeah. So thankfully, right. Yeah. Thankfully, prior to COVID, I wasn't doing that bad with regards to bookings and them kind of thing. So like bookings were able to roll over online, and because I have cameras and I have access to lights and audio, I can easily shoot a show in my bedroom, which I am doing.
Is that where you are now, Gyal?
Yes. this is my set. This is one of the sets in my bedroom. I don't even have a bed in my bedroom anymore because like I know how this time would be. So yeah, I am able to, like, if I have to do a stand-up set, I could easily do it in my bedroom. For instance, my good buddy Kevin Sawyer, one of my best buddies in the world, he comes here every time he has a booking for a comedy show, and we shoot it right here, make it look real nice, and send it back out there. Everything is online now. So with regards to me being a comedian, that's how I am still like being booked, because I could shoot my performance right in my bedroom.
Perfect. Now I'm seeing a question. Have you ever gone to a GoFundMe or similar platform to fund your projects?
Nah, I have Leslie Ann does support me. So now I've never started a GoFundMe to fund a project. Mainly because how to explain it? I would do it eventually if I know for a fact I can't pull it off with the people around me now. If I know I really cannot use the resources around me, and I have at least one part of the thing I'm doing shot already, I would ask for funding, because I can show you what I'm working on now. But like, if I just have an idea in my head, I'm not going to be like, please, can you give me some money? I have this, because I think I have my resources where I can shoot a piece of it and show you what I'm talking about before you fund me. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I haven't started a GoFundMe as well.
So I want to be very clear to the audience. So you are making a living currently providing and producing content online?
Yeah, technically.
And so,
And my film and my videography skills.
no, correct. And because you're the comedian, you're a videographer, as well as creating content, you have found ways to monetize by specializing in different skills. Is that
Yeah.
something you want to encourage any up and coming individual?
Yeah, especially in this time. If you're, for instance, me, I'm a comedian, I'm a host. I am real, like, just how I love film, I love comedy. And you have ideas in your head. The best thing you could do with yourself is get a camera and a laptop and some lights. That is the best thing you could do right now. Get a camera and a laptop and start producing your own content at home. That is the best thing you could do.
But how do you get seen? Because, for instance, I mean, we might know you because you're Gervail and you've done a lot of stuff. But if I'm living, somewhere, wherever, and nobody really knows me, how can I then, film my 1 minute content and put it out there? What advice do you have for me in terms of getting seen, in terms of marketing? Because you did mention marketing is something we're failing at.
So this is what I did when I started. When I started, I was in Form 4. And if you go through my messages in 2013, 2012, you would see I messaged almost everyone on my Facebook, asking them to go look at my video. So like I directly marketed to the people that I had access to. Like most people on social media, they have at least 1,000 friends. 500 for the least. I doubt it have people lower. Well, it have people lower, but yeah, but if you're in entertainment, I doubt your numbers that low. So like just say you have 1,000 people on your Facebook, this is your profile, nobody know you as yet. You can message at least 100 of those people and ask, hey, can you like my video and share it or give me a feedback on it? And people will view it, and if they like it, they'll share it, and that's how your content is start to reach out. Other than that, if you really want to get at it, you can do Facebook sponsored posts. And they are now Google ads. So like Google ads will run through all, especially on YouTube. That's why sometimes like when you go on YouTube, you're seeing like a video just keep being suggested. Those are Google ads. And it's very discreet. So nobody really knows that ad now. But yeah, that gets just marketed to your face.
So, and of course, to get the test podcast, I get a WhatsApp from you every Monday.
Every Monday.
Every Monday I get a WhatsApp, but I like it because it reminds me like, oh yes, this is out, and I do click and I look at the episode on YouTube. Tell us the value of using the broadcast feature on WhatsApp.
So on YouTube now, there's this really nice thing, analytics, where you could click on it and you'd see where most of your views coming from, how long your video is being viewed, what region, which part, your age, like who's your demographic, and all those nice things, right? The last episode I clicked on, I saw that 50% of my views, around 50% of my views, comes from WhatsApp. The other is from Instagram. And those are I use Instagram a lot. So like the direct conversation with somebody is a broadcast, but it coming directly to your chat, like, hi, good day, please, not please, but hi, I know you're a fan of the Test Podcast, go check it out. And this guy used this Ryan Leslie. He don't use no social media. He don't use Instagram, Facebook, or anything like that. He has a contact list and a number. And if he goes to, like, just say he goes to Washington, he have a group chat for Washington. He have a group chat for Brooklyn. So he's directly messaging these people like, hi, I'm in the city tonight, I'm performing. Be sure to check it out. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start to use that as well. I'm going to have like a little section on my phone for my content, and I'm messaging people directly, telling them, go check it out until the content could sustain itself and I start building something else, and then I'll start over the process.
I mean, no, I like that. You don't need to leave us out because, like I said, getting the WhatsApp from you, it makes me click and look at the content. Yeah. And it's really good to get the analytics where you're saying 50% of your audience comes from WhatsApp. That is something that unless we know and we look at the analytics, we won't be able to see the value of the WhatsApp broadcast, which is really good to know.
Crazy enough, like, it's have some people who don't like broadcasts at all. And I am cool with that. Like, if you tell me, yo, come on, like, you're messaging me about this thing, I don't want to be messaged about it. I'll just remove you from the list. But like when I send out the message, like people just be like, hey, thanks, I was looking forward to this message. So it's mean like the people on my phone are really fans of what I do now. So again, like you have to like know who are you following and the structure.
Correct. And if it's one thing I learned in terms of creating content, you have your primary audience, your secondary audience, and your tertiary audience. So the primary audience, of course, would be your core friends and family. And by your core friends and family sharing, it gets it to the secondary audience. And of course, based on the secondary audience, the tertiary ones who, didn't know at all who Gervail was or what Trinidad and Tobago is or what. Correct. And so, but you have to really snowball by really getting your support from the friends and family. So in terms of, okay, what is the next step for you? Are you going to continue with the test podcast? Are you only going to do digital? Tell us what is your long-term as a content creator?
I am using the test podcast right now for foundation for my online things that I'm going to do, because I have a lot of plans with some other shows, especially for me and everyone on my team, because I view it as like, yo, we can build a nice little platform here. Well, the platform is already there. We can utilize this platform as a team. So other than the test podcast, some things that I'm working on, and it's going to be on YouTube. But of course, like I don't want to ever forget our traditional media, because I am still a part of a TV program, and I see the returns of it now. Like a lot of people just be like, yo, TV dead. But I don't think TV is dead. I think a lot of the content on TV is a bit dead. And they don't really utilize social media to market it. So most of the content that I'm going to do on my YouTube, I want to have it on television as well. Because why not use the both platform if you have the opportunity to do it, of course.
So based on you saying most of the content on television is dead, what would you advise or the audience looking at the type of, I'm putting you on the spot, the type of content that they should be creating to be able to go viral and actually monetize?
Simple things like that, what people want to see. I think like a lot of things that are being created for television is, I don't want to say boring, but some of the best thing I've seen on television for a while would have been this guy, Rudy had a real nice show. And of course, the show that I won, The Rundown. Great shows, like those things will always work. Other than that, like, it's a lot of people that just do content and it's informative, but it's, at the same time, it's not engaging now. So it's like a man just saying now, well, this is so and so, and down there is down there, and we just do this here, and like people watching this TV screen and screaming like, ah, what is this?
But do you feel like it might be an age thing? Do you think that maybe based on your, the demographic, that some people might like the talking head approach? We're talking head right now.
No, nothing is wrong with that talking head. Nothing is wrong with that talking head. It's just the way it's done. And I think like everyone just follow that style. And it's a little bit. Yeah, that model. I don't think it works anymore. That's why most of the things online picking up so well now, because they have the vibe of it, the cuts and everything. Like I think we in an era of fast cuts, like boom, 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 boom. If I explain it properly, so yeah.
How boom. So in terms of, but I mean, yes, I agree with the content, but do you also think is the type of equipment that we're using, our lighting, is there any sort of advice for us to take in terms of how we actually create the content, the look and feel of it?
Yeah. But then that if we're still talking about television, it goes to the TV station broadcasting quality. Because like if I create something that real dope and I send it to a TV station and their broadcast quality is 480 or 720, like the quality wouldn't show. So yeah, but if we're talking online, for sure, like make sure everything is in like the highest quality possible. Like if you have 4K, well, nah, you don't want to waste it. Like if you have 4K is available to you and your system can process it, use that. Use the best quality out there. The best of whatever you have at your hands, use it. If your phone is shoot 720 and that's the best quality you have, use it. Because Leslie, it's the crazy thing. I've seen things not being shot well, but the content was so good that people still engage it now. And because the content's so good, other people will want to come on board to help out, like myself, and shoot it and make it better now.
So persons can just reach out to you and you'd support?
No. No. you have to be my circle, and just like we said earlier on, it have to make sense to the both of us. Like when you're bacheloring, it's how to make sense to the both of us. Like you doing this, I doing this, it matching up, okay, cool, we work on it. But if not, it wouldn't make any sense. It'd be like a one-sided thing.
Right.
Which like if I could help and it's one-sided, I have no problem with that at all.
You don't mind. Okay, so in terms of, tell us for you, I know you're doing your bachelor's in marketing. How would you now position the degree in terms of enhancing your content creation?
I think the marketing aspect of it, because like my entire degree is in marketing. As I told you, like one of my main interests these days is ads.
Mm-hmm.
So like me being creative and understanding some of the concepts of marketing, I think like I could do an ad real good now.
Okay. Before we wrap up, do you have any advice, anything you want to give to the audience in terms of creating and digitizing content? If you have any other questions, let us know before we wrap it up today.
Just start. Whatever you have, just start it, because I held back myself for 2 years thinking I need to wait on people and wait on things, and I didn't have to do that. I could have just started and had a pickup wherever I was. Like just start doing wherever it is. That voice in your head that telling you need this and you need that, that voice is a liar. You don't need that. You want that. Use what you have. So yeah, exactly. that would be my advice.
Exactly. And even before we go, I want to say, even when I met you and Shari and a few others, Omar and Ronaldo and stuff, and looking at the drive in terms of creating content, there was never I need to wait for any gatekeeper to open any doors for me. And for the young persons looking in, because this is a youth platform today, you really need to start. Of course, even if you film a 10-second short, you put it out there on social media, get feedback on it, and keep creating content. Your first set of content might not be the best, but if you stop, you'll never get better. And so the takeaway is create your content, really tell your story. You're the artist, and yes, you will have the naysayers, but you'll also have the niche audience who would buy into your content. Keep doing that. Keep believing in yourself. Do not just rely on every single person to give you feedback. You have to take feedback, as they say, take what is for you and leave the rest. Not everyone giving you advice is for you. And honestly, if anything, I feel like 2020 has taught us is to be our authentic selves. And you know who supports you. You know who your audience is. And always tell your story. And that is how you would really build your organic audience. All right, so Gervail, we're going to wrap up. Shari isn't back as yet. I know she's busy doing her work, but we really want to thank the audience for tuning in into our program. If you have any questions, message us info@filmtt.co.tt, and we will definitely get back to you. Bye.
Bye. We're off.
Where do I want to do, Marshall? Easy man, no, I am vexed. I want to lash somebody right now. You think I just look like this? I do not look like this. This is why Caribbean cannot progress, because of the regression with bullshit. And 100 girl matches.
Scrum Master syndrome.